Well, hello, Sagamore Baptist Church, and those of you that are joining us this Wednesday evening. This is a pre-recorded message. My staff and I are preparing our building for Sunday morning's worship time as we regather on June the 7th at 10:30 a.m. And so this is just going to be a real quick time with you this evening, this Wednesday. But I want to go through some guidelines that we're going to be following as we regather in this phase one part of this regathering at Sagamore Baptist Church. Now, I know that there's so many different opinions and so many different thoughts about all of this COVID-19 and everything else that's happening around the United States. Let me just encourage you right now at the front end of this that we just need to keep our eyes on the Lord Jesus Christ. He is our peace. This is what Ephesians 2:14 says. Isaiah 26:3 also says that He will keep us in perfect peace when our mind is stayed on Him. Hebrews 12:1 and 2 tell us to fix our eyes on the author and finisher or perfecter of our faith. Colossians chapter 3 verses 1 through 4 tells us to set our minds on those things that are above, not those things that are below. So we're told over and over again to keep our eyes on the Lord, even in the midst of all of the chaos that's going on around us. And He's really the one who keeps our minds in peace, no matter what's going on. Now, I know that this has been a stressful time for you all, not being able to meet together. My staff and I have taken every precaution that we possibly can to protect you and to protect others that would be visiting us here at Sagamore Baptist Church. And this coming Sunday, June 7th, we've also been taking precautions to protect everybody as we regather in this phase one of our regathering. Again, my staff and I are preparing the building for Sunday. And there's a lot of things that we're doing to make sure that everything is lined up. We have designated seating for everybody that's going to join us in our regathering. I just want to go through these guidelines with you. You should have received a letter on May 20th from myself and the rest of the pastors here at Sagamore, letting you know what these guidelines are. And it doesn't matter to me what our opinions are about these guidelines. We still just need to make sure that we take care of each other and that we look out for the best interest of each other. And so there's no shaming at all. If you don't feel comfortable regathering, this is between you and the Lord. We love you. We're praying for everybody as we have been during this time. And we're taking every precaution, but we do need to follow these guidelines that the CDC, as well as Governor Abbott, the state of Texas, Tarrant County, and the city of Fort Worth have directed for regathering. And so we just want to make sure that we are very careful for y'all's sake. And now I can tell you right now, I'm at peace with everything. I'm not fearful of regathering with you, and I hope you're not fearful of it either, but we're just going to come together, but we are taking this serious and taking all the precautions necessary. So there's not going to be Bible fellowship at 9 a.m. Very important that you know that up front. We will not be meeting at 9 a.m. at the 9 o'clock hour until further notice. We just need to see how things play out. There's so many other churches in our area that are doing the exact same things that we're doing, and but we're just taking precaution according to the directives that we've been given. If you do not feel well, if you're running a fever, if you have a cough, if you are experiencing allergies or lightheadedness, or if you have been diagnosed with COVID-19, suspect your exposure to COVID-19, or if you've traveled within the last 2 weeks to a COVID-19 hotspot, or have any underlying medical condition that makes you at risk, we're asking you to simply stay home and worship with us online beginning at 10:25 a.m. on Sunday morning. You can join us at www.sagamorechurch.com or right here on our Sagamore Church Facebook page. And we just want to make sure that you're taken care of and that you're well. And we don't want you to be susceptible to anything that anybody might be carrying on Sunday morning. When you enter Sagamore Baptist Church on Sunday morning, we're asking you to only use the front doors where the carport is, underneath the main cross that's outside of our building, in the front of the building. All of the doors to the facility are going to be no entry, no access. That includes also our watchmen. You should be coming through the front doors. Our watchmen's radios will be at the children's ministry desk, where you can pick that up, as well as your badges and everything. Our police officer will be available to us also. The portion of the building that's going to be closed is where the north side of the restrooms are, all of the adult classrooms, as well as the fellowship hall and the kitchen and the office area. All of that is off limits. It's all closed. It's all going to be locked, so nobody should be in that area. We have that area blocked also by tables with hand sanitizer, where you'll be able to pick up your worship guide as well for the worship service. When you approach the two front doors, we're asking that you maintain the 6 foot different separation out of respect for others. If somebody doesn't want to shake your hand or not hug you, don't be offended by that. There are some that are going to be very cautious, and it's understandable. That's okay. We want to give respect to everybody and how everybody's handling this COVID-19 pandemic, as well as everything else that's going on, okay? No shame whatsoever. We ask that you bring your own hand sanitizer. However, we do have hand sanitizer on the tables at the guest information booth. There's hand sanitizer in different areas where you can use that also. But if you want to bring your own hand sanitizer, feel free to do that. And just out of respect for others, just make sure to wash your hands and use hand sanitizer as much as possible, okay, just to protect each other. If masks are recommended by the CDC, there's been differing opinions about this. Dr. Fauci with the CDC said that at one point masks were necessary, and then he came out and said masks aren't helpful. And then there's others that are saying, yes, wear masks. It's up to you. If you want to wear a mask, it's recommended still by the CDC. Gloves are also recommended, but that's entirely up to you. This is merely a recommendation. If you want to wear gloves and a mask, do so. If not, you don't have to. That's up to you. But if any surface is touched with gloves, you need to realize then that those gloves need to be discarded after leaving the surface in a proper receptacle before you leave, or even at your home or in your car, or what have you. There's going to be staff and volunteers standing 6 feet away at the entrance to answer any questions and to point you with directions to the worship center. And please don't approach them, try to embrace them or shake their hands. Respect their safety as they're trying to respect your safety as well. Inside the entry doors, you will see tables with the worship guides. Offering plates are going to be in the worship center as you walk in through the doors into the worship center. You'll see them on little tables just right next to the doors there. You're welcome to drop your tithes and offerings in those plates right then. One of our deacons, one of our fine deacons will be there to assist, and you can just leave your offerings there, even though we will be praying for our offering during the service and just asking God to bless our faithfulness, knowing His faithfulness to us like we normally do. And so there won't be the traditional passing of the plates, but we still are going to consider this as an act of worship, our giving a portion back to the Lord of everything that He's blessed us with. We're not serving any food or drinks, so the kitchen is going to be off limits and closed. Seating in the worship center is going to be designated. If there's a ribbon on the seats, you're not allowed to sit in those seats. Those coming to church together may sit adjacent to each other, leaving 2 seats between them and others. Couples and families and friends who ride together to church in the same vehicle, according to the CDC guidelines, can sit together but must maintain a 6-foot separation from any other members. This is out of respect for others again. We're not providing child care during our worship services at this time. Due to nursery and preschool classrooms being closed at this time, we are providing an optional overflow for families with preschool children and with babies in the student ministry room. All families are welcome to be in the worship center, but families with preschoolers may choose to gather in the student ministry area. Round tables with preschool worship activities will be provided so that families can participate in the live worship service shown on the screen. Social distancing will be maintained by allowing only one family per table and by encouraging families to keep a 6-foot distance. Children must be accompanied by at least one parent at all times. The mom's room is unavailable for use at this time as well. All the doors to the worship center are going to be open during the service, and we ask that you simply walk in and walk out keeping a 6-foot distance from each other. There's not going to be any loitering in the foyer area. When you come to church, you come right into the worship center along with everybody else. Our police officer will be directing people in there, as well as our door greeters and those that are assisting from our staff and those that are helping to give directions. Will be directing everybody into the worship center for our time of worship. The foyer restrooms between the student and children's areas will be available to anyone that needs to use them. We will have restroom attendants to ensure that no more than 2 people at a time enter into the restroom. After each use, it's required for the restrooms to be sanitized for any others who need to use the restrooms. Other restrooms in the facility will not be available. Also, all the water fountains will be unavailable for use before, during, and after each of the services. At the end of the service, you will be dismissed by sections. We ask that you exit the facility with those with whom you came. Please know that sanitation of the building will take place quickly after each of the services, so we ask that you exit the building completely while keeping that 6-foot social distancing from each other. And after we sing our closing song, Pastor Philip is going to be the one that will direct the sections to exit out in an orderly manner. Following each of the services, we will thoroughly wipe down all the hard surfaces in our restrooms, foyer, and worship center, as well as sanitizing any part of the building that has been used. And so just be aware of that. Now, I know there's a lot of guidelines. This is what's been handed down to us. This is for all of us to take precaution. I know some people are not taking this seriously, but we are. We're required to. And so we are doing our very best to protect you and to protect those that are visiting our fellowship as well. Again, we love you. We miss you. We look forward to seeing you sooner than later on June 7th at 10:30 a.m. If you're not able to join us live online again at www.sagamorechurch.com or on our Facebook page at Sagamore Baptist Church. Just make sure to join us for worship, and let's continue to be faithful to the Lord, knowing His faithfulness to us. Now, with that said, I know some of you are wanting to have fellowship. This resides with you at this point. If you've not been making calls to church members, make some phone calls this week. Encourage people so that you can be encouraged also. Send them texts, send them letters, send them cards. Be responsible for each other. I know many of you have been calling each other. I know you've been calling me, checking on our family. We've been calling you all and checking on y'all's families. Our whole staff has been calling people. And so it's been really good to be able to communicate with each other during this time. But I just encourage you to be in touch with each other and love each other in any way possible. And let's remember this also. Again, Isaiah 26:3, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you. This is what God promises us. And so let's keep our minds stayed on Him as we prepare to regather in this phase 1 here at Sagamore Baptist Church. Until Sunday, dear ones, know that I'll see you with a smile on my face and a Bible in my hand. I love you, church.